Over the last couple of seasons in Fortnite, we have seen a severe lack of live events. But that wasn't always the case, and today we're going to revisit some of Fortnite's best live events of all time. Just those events that if you could go back in time and just watch them one more time in game, you absolutely would. Be sure, guys, to use code TYFRYZ in the Fortnite item shop if you'd like to support me. But with all that being said, guys, let's get right into it. This is going to be a good one. Firstly, I have to get this out of the way because storyline-wise, this is probably my favorite event of all time. That is going to be the final showdown. Not only was the actual event itself fantastic, but they did such a good job building up this event. Since season 7, we had seen, if you guys remember, that big eye under Polar Peak, wondering what is this that's under Polar Peak, and we were left wondering for 3 seasons, right? Season 7, season 8, and season 9, and then all of a sudden you saw this big robot starting to be built. You're like, what was going on? And then of course, when it's time for the event to happen, all the sirens start going off and the monster just comes out of the water, and it was like a shock moment. Everyone wanted to know what was under Polar Peak, and there he was. It was this giant hideous monster, and the live event was so good because it evoked so many emotions, right? The robot gets taken down, then he comes flying out, and then, you know, he punches the monster comes back out of the water, and then it looks like the robot's defeated, but he's not. And then, of course, he goes to Neo Tilted, pulls out the sword that was there the whole time. Nobody had any idea. Defeats him with this, like, sick end scene. He stabs him straight through the eye. And then he starts, you know, emoting on him, which is so great. I can't tell you guys enough how much I enjoyed this live event. And I remember being in-game watching my friends and being like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. It was so well done. So great for the storyline. And unfortunately, we really haven't seen Singularity since, unless you count her as the butterfly. But I think, in my opinion, this is the best storyline live event we have ever seen. With that being said, though, I think you could argue for any of these live events, and next we're going to talk about the end live event from chapter 1. Honestly, the finale live events from all the chapters have been great, but in my opinion, this is the best. Look, I can't really tell you the emotions that you feel when watching this, but just the grand music and the fact that this map that you are making memories with your friends for, you know, years, and just watching it get all swallowed up and gone. And of course, we never thought that we would have ever seen it again. Of course, we got Fortnite OG where it came back, but it's really hard to explain the feelings. Like, you literally just watched all the memories. Like, for me at least, when I was watching this live event in game, I was running like a movie reel through my head of every location, me dropping there with my friends, us having a good time, and it all slowly being forgotten about and leaving the island. It was honestly a really insane moment to explain. It honestly sounds stupid saying this about a video game, but it really was emotional, right? Like, you watched everything go down the drain essentially, and then of course, how could you forget the black hole? Like, the game just went silent. The biggest game on the planet just went completely silent and was down for days. I mean, that is unheard of, right? But of course, it built so much hype for chapter 2. I think this whole event was perfectly done. I literally don't have a negative thing to say about this event. They just did such a good job. The anticipation, the music, the actual event, and the aftermath of the event was all just perfect. But kind of getting away from storyline events here, how about we talk about the Marshmello concert? Look, this concert was very, very tame, but there is no understating this event's importance in not only Fortnite history, but also really gaming history. I mean, to my knowledge, this was the first ever, like, video game concert. Like, it might sound stupid to some people who have never experienced it, but, like, it really was that. You had Marshmello, if I remember, was actually on the mic, actually talking to players within the game. This was a technological masterpiece, to be honest with you, to be able to pull this off. And even though I'm not the biggest Marshmello fan, I can appreciate what they did here and how it kind of pioneered other concerts going forward. You have to remember, this was the first one, but we've seen 10, 15, 20, 30 Fortnite concerts go on since then, and this really set the standard. You can't understate the importance of this live event, and we will see another concert on this list, and that is all possible because of this event. It was a super technologically innovative time for Fortnite, and this just really showed what they were capable of. And speaking of technological innovations, let's talk about the rocket launch from season 4. In my opinion, the first ever live event. And I was just talking about setting the standard for concerts. Well, this got it all started. This is what started really the Fortnite storyline, and it sent everybody into a craze. Of course, there were some growing pains with this event. I remember a lot of people didn't get in, and it was really the first time where they ever just tried to shut shut down the lobbies and have a dedicated live event, and of course it made it a little bit difficult. Now during live events, you can't kill anybody, they turn off the HUD, they take off the weapons, whatever, but back then it was just a normal pubs lobby, so you had to worry about actually getting killed by the people next to you. But besides that, just the fact that this was the first live event, I can't leave it out of a list of Fortnite's best live event. And of course, they teased destroying Tilted Towers. I vividly remember me and my 3 brothers sitting here watching it, like screaming when the beam came over Tilted Towers, as I'm sure anybody who experienced that did. I have a lot of fond memories of this live event. I still have the whole thing clipped on my Xbox from like 7 years ago. It's really that insane. This is what created live events, and so for that reason, it has to get a spot on this list. Next, coming from one of my favorite seasons of all time, Chapter 2, Season 2, that is the Device event. I could literally make an entire video on the storyline of Midas and the Device in its entirety, but this live event was so perfectly executed, I can't explain it to you. Of course, yes, there were some growing pains with events like this too. I remember it was tough for a lot of people to get in, but again, that's just something that they have to work on for every live event. I like vividly remembered the alarms and sirens going off and hearing like the little spies music that was the theme for the whole season come on, and you knew like it's starting, here we go. And then like the agency just opens up the middle, the Device comes out, and you know, you have this whole storm and lightning, and it pushes the storm back, and it's just it was unreal. And then you go into this like, you know, dimension or whatever, and you see these shadowy figures walking by. You're like, what is going on? And then you get teleported back. It was honestly just insane. And somebody in the comments may have to correct me on this, but if I remember right, this was the first time we ever saw like the Fortnite characters actually talk. If you remember during the live event, you had that cutscene where you're actually talking to Jonesy, right, in the tuxedo. And to my knowledge, that's the first time we ever heard a Fortnite character talk, if that makes sense. So this was actually a really big deal. And of course, you have one of the most insane endings to a live event in Fortnite history. You come back and the water has totally risen, and for a day or two, the water actually became the Fortnite zone. It literally changed the game for a day or two. I can't explain to you what the game looked like during this time. Having a live event actually become like part of the actual battle royale, like the outcome of the live event now had a factor in how the battle royale played, to me was absolutely insane and so sick. If you were to say that the Device was your favorite live event of all time, I would not knock you for that. It was an unbelievable live event, and they just don't make them like this anymore. I had mentioned concerts earlier in the video, of course, with Marshmello, and I said that there would be another one on this video. Here it is. That's going to be the Travis Scott concert. Most people watching this video probably saw this happen, but this concert is probably the best Fortnite concert we've ever had, and it may honestly be the best we will ever get. Not only do I personally enjoy his music, as I know a lot of people do, but just the whole scenery around this live event, and the fact that he was like huge, right? He was like 100 times the size of a regular player, and just constantly going through different skyboxes, right? You were under the water, and then you were in this like weird line neon dimension, and then you were in this like fire arena, right? Like it was just honestly insane. And of course, at the end of the live event, you get transported into like space and you're hovering over. I remember it was a huge conspiracy. People were looking down at the island. Oh, there's Tilted, it's coming back, like all that type of stuff. And then of course, the big deal was we got the first real worldwide listen of the Scots by Travis Scott. I believe it was that song, and it was just really, really cool. Of course, I have a little bit of bias because I do enjoy his music, but even if you didn't, I think you can appreciate the work that was put into this, and I think it is one of the best live events of all time. I've seen it like 10 times. It was that good. And last but certainly not least, that's going to be the big bang from the end of Chapter 4 that led us into Chapter 5. You know, this is kind of an interesting one because, of course, we were in Season OG, and what they tried to do was they tried to like remake the original end live event from Chapter 1, but with like a little twist, and it was amazing. It really brought back a lot of nostalgia from that original end live event. And you'll notice that this event was particularly longer than the majority of events, if not all of the events on this list. This was a pretty long live event, and that's for a couple reasons. They tried to kind of introduce the almost Fortnite metaverse here, and so you basically got to experience each game mode for the first time. So you kind of went through, you know, that dimension, right, we all know and love, and you basically just got a sneak peek of every new mode that was going to come to the game. So of course you went to Lego Fortnite, which at the time was super hyped up. I know it has died down a little bit, it, but back then that was super hype. And then of course we went to rocket racing, and you actually got to drive, you know, the cars in Fortnite, which was so sick on the track, and the music was amazing. And then of course you can't forget you had an Eminem concert. Of course they included Juice WRLD too, his part in Godzilla, which was super cool. I know a lot of people are big fans of his. And then of course we got introduced to Fortnite Festival, which in my opinion has been probably the biggest success out of all the new game modes they introduced. My only complaint about this live event is that to me it almost kind of felt like an advertisement a little bit more than just like, you know, a storyline live event. I'm a big story guy of Fortnite, and so for me it was kind of upsetting because it really seemed like this was just an advertisement for what they had next instead of actually like pushing the storyline forward. And that's why I personally like the end of chapter 1, that live event, better than this live event. But the Big Bang is nothing to be ashamed of. It is an incredible live event, and I absolutely think it is deserving to be on this list. So yeah guys, that's it. That is my list for some of Fortnite's best live events of all time. Of course there are a couple really close ones that missed out here, but man, where have live events gone? We need to see them come back more frequently like they used to. If you went on to enjoy this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section, what did I miss or what did I nail right on the head, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.